Hi everybody, this is Symphonic Elk and I'm coming at you with Tales from the Toy Chest, where I go into my toy chest and tell you a little bit about some of the toys I have. And by toy chest, I pretty much just mean boxes that I have up in my loft and in my attic, or maybe in my basement. But anyway, I did a vintage Star Wars action figure video a couple weeks back and got a decent amount of positive feedback, so I thought I would try something in the same vein with some different figures. This will be a quicker video than my comic book hauls, or at least I hope that it will be. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get started. So the first line of toys that I want to talk about are Secret Wars. So this was the Marvel toy line from Mattel from the 80s. It was short-lived, and it was based on the Secret Wars miniseries. It was produced by Mattel. It had two series that were produced in the United States, and a third series that was produced outside of the United States. And it came with figures, vehicles, playsets, etc. And this was in 1984 and 1985. And almost all the figures came with this lenticular shield. So, surprisingly enough, for someone who has a fairly vast comic book collection, I actually didn't have these as a kid for whatever reason. But I've gone back and collected a few over the years. So what we have here is Wolverine and his secret shield. So you can see the claws that he has right here. These would stick onto his wrists. 1980s toy technology at its best. So the piece that I have, unfortunately, has a little bit of yellowing in the bubble. But yeah, I'm pleased to own it. Wolverine is, I think, just about everyone's, maybe not their favorite character, but he's usually pretty far out there. I also have Captain America and his secret shield. Captain America is got a worse card than Wolverine, but a better bubble. So there you go, America's finest warrior. I would like to note that this is unpunched. People who collect toys seem to care about this. I am not one of those. I kind of like the fact that it's when they're punched, because to me it means that they've been out on the pegs in like the 80s or the 70s or whenever, the 90s, and means that maybe they weren't played with, obviously, because they're still sealed, but yeah, they were at least purchased back then and not found in some back room 20 years later. The next figure I'm going to show you is Magneto. He also has a secret shield, if you see a theme here. Yeah, Magneto, the master of magnetism. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, the bubble is a little yellow. What else do I have? I have Robert Downey Jr. disguised as Iron Man. Yeah, Iron Man. There's really not a whole lot to say other than until the movies, he really wasn't that popular of a character. Still, pretty cool. Next, I have Daredevil. And like poor Daredevil, who is blind, it is very hard to see him in this yellowed bubble. But yeah, sometimes when the price is right, the price is right. And so for my last Secret Wars figure, we have Spider-Man and his secret shield. Unfortunately, this has a little bit of a cracked bubble and a little bit of a yellowed bubble, but still, Spider-Man in his black suit, pretty damn cool if you ask me. I really love this figure. Really, not a whole lot to say about it. I would suppose that Spider-Man figures are some of the easiest ones to make, because it's just essentially him in his bodysuit, and there's nothing that needs to stick out or protrude. So yeah, really like this one. Alright, so I'm going to go over one more toy line with you all today. I'm going to go over a toy line that just about everybody knows. And I'm not going to go over all the figures I have, just some of the more interesting ones, the carded ones. So yeah, I'm talking about G.I. Joe, the real American heroes. The Joe line started in the 60s, but they were like 12-inch figures, so it's obviously not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the series that came out in the 80s, particularly 1982. So a little bit of G.I. Joe versus Cobra action. So I've got a couple figures that I want to show y'all. Again, if you'd seen my Star Wars video, you'll see I do have a number of loose figures, but this we're going to mostly go over some Carter ones that I had. So, first, we have Action Force Gung Ho. So, G.I. Joe was licensed to Palitoy for European release, and they changed the name of the figures to Action Force. So this is Gung Ho. Gung Ho is definitely one of my favorite G.I. Joes. He's a Marine. It's pretty cool. Have one more Action Force figure. This is Roadblock, also one of my favorites. Again, both of these figures were released in France by Palitoy. So here we have something a little bit more interesting, a little bit different. So we have a Cobra Commander from India. And so it's a little bit different. Also, what you'll notice, and I guess it's kind of difficult to notice in the video, is that the card stock that they use for these Indian Joe figures is a lot thinner than the card stock you see for most of the toys circa 1980s that were released in the United States and in Europe. So here we have an actual US release. And so with the exception of the Snake Eyes toys, this is my all-time favorite Joe. Like I said before, like Gung Ho, it's one of my favorite. Just thought that this, in his Marine fatigues, just Marine blue, or excuse me, dress was beautiful, beautiful figure. A lot of the Joes, I mean, not so much at the beginning, but certainly as time went on, got kind of were less realistic. But even the beginning ones, some of them weren't. I should say the beginning of the 3 3/4 inch ones. They weren't super realistic. This one, he looks like he's out of the U.S. Marine commercials that were very popular in the 1980s. So he's really being all that he can be. The next figure that I'm going to show is Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is a crowd pleaser. Everyone likes Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is everyone's favorite. Or just about. Yeah. And there's not a whole lot more to say about him. This is the third Snake Eyes that came out. The first Snake Eyes was just an all-black figure. The second Snake Eyes did add a little bit of color, kind of a muted gray, greenish color. To the black suit, and then he had his dog with him, or his wolf. And so this is the third one, and it comes with a lot of stuff. It comes with a sword, it comes with nunchucks, it comes with some kind of like sniper rifle. I mean, yeah, and a command ring, obviously. So yeah, I gotta say this is one of the better ones that I have. And last but not least, we have everybody's favorite enemy, Cobra Commander. And this Cobra Commander is from China. So as you can see, the card is different than what you would find in the United States. It's actually taller, but at the same time, it's clearly a Joe figure, unlike, say, the Fun School one or the Action Force ones. This is obviously G.I. Joe. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And thanks for spending a little bit of your time with me. Thanks, and have a great afternoon.